You're listening to Radio Grouse. Big team to look out for at the Greenhouse Drink Olympics today is Erik and AK. Both are known for their drinking and dogging capabilities. Most recently, I've been told they're excited for summer to roll around so they can visit Horsetooth together. AK is going to be teaching Erik how to swim, and Erik will be teaching AK how to accept his third nipple in public spaces. Make sure to watch out for them today. Should be exciting. You're listening to Radio Grouse. My personal favorite Jew of all time, Jack Gottlieb, has a rumor going around about himself. Turns out last night, it was proven to not just be a rumor as a video shows him out preforming a great white shark in a pull-up competition. Congrats to him on his success. Next week, he will be going up against a worm. Not sure who to root for here, folks. You're listening to Radio Grouse. This year's dark horse team at the Greenhouse Drink Olympics, Jake and Rachel, have been taking the internet by storm. Jake's bullet wound from his vacation in Israel and Rachel's story about getting her big toe bitten by a horse as a child has folks wondering what they can't do on the field today. Shouldn't be too hard to realize that both of them together will be unstoppable. Unless Jake is offered food. Then he's stoppable. You're listening to Radio Grouse. We have a request from a local listener, Joseph Scott. He is in need of a caretaker this fall, somebody who is adept at changing adult diapers and won't run away when he starts squirming and pooping all over the place as they change him. He has not yet posted an official salary, but says if anybody is willing to take rugs as payment, he can produce them in the next 20 to 3,000 years. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Kaden has finally hit the big leagues after robbing the biggest distributor of denim in Taiwan last month. He claims to be producing the biggest pair of Jankos the world has ever seen by this September. I pray for us all they catch him before his madness reaches street fashion. You're listening to Radio Grouse. The almighty Kiron the Fist has finally returned from battle. After 17 long years in the wastelands of Kenya, he has finally slain the evil Blurfundulum and his army of goblins. We welcome him back with open arms as he drinks his heart out today. Don't forget to give him a little kiss from me in the studio. You're listening to Radio Grouse. The dynamic lesbian duo Lyric and Carly have been absolutely dominating the Greenhouse popularity polls. With only a few appearances this year, fans of the Secret Truman Show style recordings of the house have been begging for their return. Here's a little hot to go for them up next. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Around this time last year is when we all saw that video of Maclane fighting that absolute monster of a bear out in Ukraine. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him and Sid during his penile reconstruction surgery next week. Can't wait to see the new one in person. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Mackenzie and Sadie have recently been putting on an absolute show at the bars. Phytaos around FOCO are looking for brothers to stay within locations as far as possible from Fort Collins. I've been asked to reach out to any of you listeners who may be in contact with the chapter at Florida State to please get your fellow brothers in touch. As Phi Delta associates, we always want to help those in need. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Supposedly, there's a special guest appearance by none other than Scotty and Chris at the Greenhouse Drink Olympics this year. Fans should be looking out for Walter White with hair and the adult crack baby to place pretty high in most competitions. Big shout out to Chris again for blessing us with bigums. Here's to their success in the games. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Looks like Sydney Fagan's past has been a little uncovered. Turns out that back in her old days, she was a sucker for a good little in the bed. Injun fun. Looks like Maclane is going to have to take it up with the chief of the village on this one. Good luck to the both of you out there at the Drink Olympics. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Zoo pets. That's all that Thomas has been talking about for the last several months. He claims to have the most exotic collection of them in the U.S. I'm not sure if it's true, but I'd love to check it out sometime. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Watch out, Fort Collins. Word is there's a contract killer loose in Fort Collins today. She's been told to respond to the code name Zoe. Apparently, her trademark for finishing the job is catching her victims on the toilet. Keep those bathroom doors locked, people. Up next, we've got a fun one from Jumble. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Folks, if you haven't heard the story of Team China, I think you should listen close. Leviticus has earned 3 Purple Hearts during his most recent active deployment. After his time in war, he devoted his time to research, ultimately discovering a new protein enzyme produced by the waste of radishes that can be utilized in fertilizer to speed up plant growth by 50%, awarding him the accolade of 2 Nobel Peace Prizes in biological studies and agriculture. William currently plans to move into his parents' basement once he finishes his 5.5-year associates. Both are truly divine creations in God's image. You're listening to Radio Grouse. Supposedly, Sam Gower is going to be a referee at today's Drink Olympics, brought to you by the Greenhouse. After winning last year with Andrew as Team Mexico, it's sad not to see them competing again. Sam is not participating due to a massive Hot Wheel that was recently shoved up his butthole by a girl he met on Tinder. If he asks if you want to see his new tattoo, I would highly refrain from accepting, since he will just show you a picture of a dog getting run over by a 4-wheeler.